My name is Shiv Shankar. Last name is Dwivedi. I am Canadian. But I started life on the other side of the world on a farm in India. Someday I wonder how I got here. I never thought I would be shoveling snow in Alberta. I had never heard of Alberta in my small village back home. Old home. Old home, new home, these are just places. What I want in this life is to be perfectly at home everywhere. This we call moksha, liberation. It is my path in life. Even as I shovel snow in the Edmonton suburb, I work to make the path itself home.
अच्युतं केशवं कृष्ण दामोदरं रामनारायणं जानकीवल्लभम् अच्युतं केशवं कृष्ण दामोदरं रामनारायणं जानकीवल्लभम् श्रीधरं माधवं गोपिकावल्लभं जानकीनायकं रामचन्द्रं श्रीधरं माधवं गोपिकावल्लभं जानकीनायकं रामचन्द्रं अच्युतं केशवं कृष्ण दामोदरं रामनारायणं जानकीवल्लभं श्रीधरं माधवं गोपिकावल्लभं जानकीनायकं रामचन्द्रं भजे रामचन्द्रं भजे रामचन्द्रं भजे रामचन्द्रं भजे
The India of the cities is so very different from my India of the countryside. There are more than 1 billion people in India. 2 out of 3 still live in small villages, farming communities. This way of life has changed little in centuries. The land here in the Hardoi district of the state of Uttar Pradesh has been very good to my family for generations. My village is called Atsalia. I return for a visit every year or two. My family are Brahmins, the priestly caste, the keepers of religious teachings. Often Brahmins are not the wealthy, but we have good land and I grew up feeling blessed. We had food and wanted for little. I haven't lived here since I was sent away to school at age 11. But villagers still know me from my family and for the work we Canadians do to help their children. Some touch my feet, a traditional sign of respect. I'm a teacher. I'm called a Pandit, a religious teacher, a spiritual guide. Another title is Acharya, a master of Sanskrit, the ancient language of India. Not everything is traditional in the Indian countryside. Times are changing quickly and not always for the better. There is so much attention to money, not enough, I think, on the deeper meaning in life. Some spiritual practices are not so strong anymore. Unhealthy habits are coming up. People are losing touch with their wisdom traditions. When I visit Atsalia, I sometimes feel like I need to do the same work here that I do for a living in Canada. Guide people back to the wisdom that is the foundation of our culture. The English word religion, it is made of two parts, re and ligio. It means to tie again to the source, to reconnect with the Creator. This is what I do. I am what they call a Hindu priest.
रामायत श्रीने नमः रामनास्ति परायण
I need to practice what I preach. I do my yoga and chanting, my meditations and prayers, so I can be a better guide for others in my faith. But mostly, I do it for my own deep and quiet bliss, my own spiritual progress. This is not as selfish as it may sound. For one person to become more awakened spiritually is good for all. We are all expressions of the one divine source.
रौद्रायै नमो नित्यायै गौर्यै धात्र्यै नमो नमः.
This religion called Hinduism is different from some and may seem strange from the outside. We worship one God, but in many forms. We also do practices that bring us closer to God realization, closer to experiencing the divine intimately, personally. There are many ways to awaken this experience. These practices have been passed down and down through the long mist of time. My special expertise is in the language Sanskrit. The Vedic scripts are written in Sanskrit.
मातस्तमेवं मुकुटं हरिन्मणिर् प्रवालं
They offer very detailed ways to live a fulfilled life. The Vedic scriptures date back maybe 40,000 years. This is the world's oldest religion.
पोषिणी शंकर तोषिणी कल्मष मोषिणी घोषरते
Chanting the Sanskrit and making the motions of repeating the offerings is more than saying prayers, more than devotion. The actual sound vibrations, sound qualities brings about certain benefits for a person's deep purifications. This is what we believe. This is what I experience. The practices bring a deeper personal experience of our ancient wisdom traditions. They bring more peace of mind in a world that too often doesn't offer much inner joy or sense of well-being.
name and arm. Holy symbol in Hinduism is a Om. You can see here in the center, we pronounce that one as a Om. In Hindu traditions, holy animal is a cow. That's why many Hindus, they don't eat red meat.
A funny thing about this Hinduism, it is the world's third largest religion, but it is not actually one religion or philosophy or dogma. It is many, including Buddhism and Sikhism. There are many variations, and there is no one leader. The term Hindu is a more recent name by foreigners, just maybe 1,000 years old. Our name for this tradition is Sanatan Dharma, which means the eternal law, the rules to live by, the way of the world. It is more a way of life than a religion. We claim no one prophet or founder. We cannot say that one person started the truth. Truth has just always been. In fact, we do not claim to be the only way. The truth comes in all great religions, Christianity, Islam, even in no religion. Each person is expression of universal truth. In Sanatan Dharma, we see our purpose as a human being is to be realized this divine truth personally, to have that state of awareness as the real and permanent experience of our daily lives. This we call God realization or self-realization. This is a permanent state of grace. We live this moment to moment, day to day. And this is not just theory or faith or belief. There are many saints, a holy traditions of enlightened stretching back thousands of years and into the modern times, men and women who have achieved this supreme goal of life. And so, this is my quest, my deep and ultimate desires. It has been from a young age. Though sometimes life seems to get in the way, worldly obligations present detours. Today I perform my rituals as a priest and person, as a teacher, but also as a humble student. I do my best to live by the 4 pillars of Dharma: truthfulness, charity, non-violence, and compassion. And yet, it is still very much a journey. In fact, Looking back, it seems to be a journey not organized by me. The choices and changes that brought me here seems clearly to be the will of divine. God is he or she. Everywhere is he. In Hinduism, both. Because nobody knows God is he or she or neutral. That's why we practice that Supreme God as a he, as a fatherhood, as a motherhood. When I was 11, I entered these gates in the holy pilgrimage town of Naimisharang, about 40 kilometers from my village. This is an ashram, a traditional boarding school for boys of the Brahmin caste to live and study the scriptures and traditions, to learn to chant the Vedas and our great epic stories. 2 years before I came to the ashram, my mother died. I was 9, about the age of these boys. I was left to care for my 5-year-old sister, to cook for my father and uncle who lived with us. Father went into a spiritual silence for a whole year. He still was farming, just not saying a single word. It was a hard time for me. I stopped walking the 7 kilometers to the nearby school, and father saw trouble in my future unless he made a change. When some wandering Swamis came through looking for boys to join the ashram, he sent me with them. This turned out to be the start of a new life for me, the opening of the spiritual path. Losing my mother filled me with grief, yet I sometimes think she left me so that I could find my true way. This is the first time I have returned to my ashram since I was a teenager. It brings back many memories. The head Swami remembers me. He was a teacher when I was here. When much later I won a gold medal for my Sanskrit at Varanasi University, it was in the papers. The news must have spread here.
I have found my last student. This is the happiest day of my life. Like someone's son lost in the river and then he comes back.
So I am happy. I like.
I liked him the most of all the students. There could be many teachers, doctors, religious storytellers, but Shiv Shankar Dwivedi is the best of all those in this field. He stands by himself.
I am more than a little surprised and embarrassed by the Swami's greeting. But it is good to be in company of these young brahmacharis, students of Vedas. Seeing these faces reminds me of my life here so many years ago, with its good friends and the strict routine of study and devotions. Here we discovered our first real sense of the ancient mystical language and how chanting it could bring such a sweet taste of something indescribable to the mind and heart. Yet, I sense not all is right here today. even in this historic ashram, started by an enlightened master to uphold our great wisdom traditions, I sense some weakening of purpose somehow. I worry about how the boys are being trained, about the purity of the teaching and the teachers. I can't help but preach a little, trying to inspire their focus on the inner riches that are not part of the material world. Not all of these ashram students will become pandits or acharyas, masters of Sanskrit, but all should be well rooted in the Vedic traditions and be able to perform their own personal rituals each day for benefits of mind and body and family. Some may become monks, sadhus, swamis, wandering holy men. But most are probably like me when I was 11, 12, 13. All I wanted was buy a motorcycle. But that was before my taste of something deeper here in Naimisharanya. When I chose to leave the ashram as a teenager, I was looking for a deeper understanding of the Sanskrit language, and especially for the personal spiritual awakening it speaks of. Beginning a spiritual quest was not that unusual for a young Brahmin teenager. For adventure, if we were very lucky, we went on a pilgrimage, perhaps to the holy Ganga river, the Ganges. I began searching for a place to study. By a lucky series of turns or divine guidance, I eventually found His Holiness Rishi Keshavanand Ji Maharaj at his ashram in the city of Hardwar.
I am here.
That was me in 1981. I felt very lucky to have found that Hardwar ashram. My love of Sanskrit was encouraged by teachers who took a special interest. I was entering debates and competitions and having good success. Yet, the awards meant little to me. In fact, when the university in Varanasi awarded me the India level gold medal, I didn't even go to pick it up. It was the language itself and the feelings brought up through rituals that give me a deep satisfaction. I felt my spiritual growth was going along well. I was working hard, moving forward, and leaving the steering to the divine. In fact, I would have been happy at that point just being a monk. But in my family, I was the only boy, the last of my line. There was no choice. A bride was found for me. We made an agreement. As was the custom, she continued to live with her parents while I finished my studies. And as destiny would have it, I was on the verge of going to Canada. My career plan was to become a teacher, perhaps helping children from poor families. Never was there thought of leaving India. Again, though, there was very different path unfolding for me. My school manager, His Holiness the Rishiji, sent my resume to people in Edmonton who were asking for a priest. I said, there is no way I am right for this position. I don't know a single word of English. But I just went along with it, left it in God's hand. What a surprise when they chose me.
And so he sent me 3 resumes. It's very interesting. It's historical. He sent me 3 resumes. So I meditated for a long time, and the first time, and then I thought that I asked Divine Mother that help me, and then I put 3 names and put it together. Then I picked up a person, and Shiv Shankar Prasad Dwivedi's name came up. So this is how he was selected to come here. That was his destiny to come.
Before I came here, I was involved very deeply in my own sadhana or spiritual growth. So I left everything in God's hand. So I was just only an instrument, and totally my 100% time was devoted to divine work. So maybe 6 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours, totally time was devoted. So at that time, so peaceful mind, no any other thoughts, just only some thoughts come to help other people. We can start some this type of things, do that type of things, and nothing else. I was persuaded to come to Canada by my Rishi. I said, okay, but only for 1 year. I worried that coming to the West was entering the material world. How would it be possible to gain higher awareness in a world where so much attention is on wealth and power, on competition and business and luxuries, and rushing from one outward pleasure to another? But I decided to put off my inner goal for a year and come to Alberta. After all, it might be a good way to begin my career as a teacher in India. Yes, an important material world consideration for me. I came to the Edmonton Hindu Cultural Center in 1989 to be the new temple's wise old Pandit. I was 23. I had been married less than a year. My wife Gayatri stayed in India. I lived alone in the temple, ate here, slept here, almost never went out into the material world except to take English classes. All the temple work, the rituals, pujas, the celebrations were very uplifting, and I was not so busy. So sometime I spent 90 days fasting, doing chanting, doing japam, the meditations, all those things. The early time in Canada turned out to be very good for spiritual growth after all. The feeling was so tremendous. So I was not worried about anything, not greedy about anything, how we can do all those things, how it will happen, everything. That's why within that type of environment and that discipline came into my mind, whatever I am getting from here, I should build a school. The thought that kept coming in those long meditations was to help the children of my village to build a school in Atsalia. There had never been a school in Atsalia. In Canada, the first year I earned $700 a month. I saved $650 a month. With that, I went home and we built a school. For the children in rural India, to have a good school nearby is unusual. For that school to be freely open to all, almost unheard of. Instead, children just start working for the family as soon as they can. And so it was in Atsalia. We learned how one small school can change the outlook of the whole community. And now that school is not so small anymore. It has 400 students in grade 1 to 8, and the school is still too small for the many who wish to come. Often boys and girls walk long distance to reach class each day. It often comes to me and I marvel how some simple thoughts coming from deep meditations have such power to change things even on the other side of the globe. That village school is often on my mind 20 some years after it was started. And it is not that I take so much credit for the school. It was just that the thought came and I was quiet enough to be able to listen and act. Those were deeply spiritual days when I first arrived in Edmonton. My life isn't always so quiet. Spiritual progress is not always, how is it said, a walk in the park. Things got busier after I returned to Canada in the early 90s. I came back because I could better support village children if I worked here. Gayatri joined me. We had our 2 boys while we still lived in the basement of the temple. We were happy with this simple life. We became Canadian citizens. A proud day. Parenthood, of course, brings many worldly responsibilities. Life seems to get less and less simple. And as children grow, it can be more and more challenging. Our very Canadian teenagers now seems to teach me more about their world than we can teach them about ours. It is not easy growing up in 2 cultures, harder still being a son of the local priest. For the parents, of course, there is a lot of work and worry alongside the pride and joy. And so, the best we can try for is a balance between the inner and outer life. It is inspiring that our traditions are full of stories of householders, parents, becoming fully realized man and woman. One does not have to be a monk somewhere in a cave. Balance is what I seek now. Daily practices bring this balance to a busy life. Over time, the temple grew. More people came to share meals and worship together. Though not everyone liked my style, I may have tried too hard to be serious to make up for being so young. My Hindi language was not so easy at that time to understand. And of course, I had no English at all. I did make many friends, but not always. I have my own principles, my own rules about money and practices. It is common in temples to charge fees for various ceremonies. Sometimes hundreds, even thousands of dollars are involved. I insist the payment be strictly voluntary, whatever they can afford. To discriminate against people who have less money is just wrong. Another break from the accepted rule. I want people to do some of their own rituals, not just priests, not just men, not just people from Brahmin families. All people should be able to advance in their inner experience. So I teach them how to do the pujas, chantings, and Sanskrit readings themselves. Some think this is not proper, but Brahmins are not the only caste who should benefit from knowing Vedic mantras and performing the rituals. There is no room for such discrimination now. Yet, change is sometimes slow. modern marriages are often a test of old values. Some priests will not marry a couple of two different castes or cultures. Those outside the faith have traditionally been considered outcast, not to be touched. This is old thinking too. I see it is not coming from a deep wisdom level. We must be beyond this now. Hinduism is not a static religion with unshakable dogma. It is evolving and, at its best, is supported by the divine. I delight in marrying people who join together for love.
Swaha idam paunamasaye namamo om brihatcha swaha idam.
These ceremonies, these prescribed rituals must seem for Westerners like they are from another world. They are certainly from another time. The scriptures on which they are based are older than any other human literature.
Om karanayo me shrotramastu om bahur me balamastu om urvo me ojostu.
They were kept as an oral traditions for thousands of years before being written down.
Sahas, drop the water here. Tanu
Yet, to perform them today makes the rituals feel perfectly relevant.
chawal long ilaichi.
If performed correctly, these pujas can have powerful benefits for the performer and for those who have asked for the rituals to be done.
Shantireva shantihi sama shantireva.
And there is one very special puja that we are expected to have done once in our lives. It is a ritual that involves a cow. We have come to India to visit the village school, but also to perform a special cow puja, the Gaudan. We stay in the nearby city of Lucknow. In cities and in the countryside in India, there are always cows wandering. They usually belong to people who bring them in for milking. It is auspicious to have cows around. People like to have them near, even if they do get in the way sometimes. Cows are most sacred to Hindus. They are part of our scriptures' traditions. In temples, you will see cow idols. Even though cow dung is considered hygienic, and when mixed with straw and dried, is prized as a cooking fuel. But mostly, cows are considered sacred because they promote spiritual growth. Cows have their own pure vibrations. It is better to do rituals, chanting and devotions in a cow barn than a temple. 10 times better. Vedic scriptures say cows embody the purest sun energy called Gau. Today, at my family's village home, we will perform a Gaudan, a ritual where cows are given away. One of the main purposes for performing a Gaudan is to wash away negative karma that blocks liberations from ourselves and from our ancestors. This is the first time I am visiting Atsalia since the passing of my father. He was a very well-respected man in the village, and he is one of the reasons I have planned the special cow ceremony. It is important for my family. Other Canadians have joined in to give away cows as their faith requires. Gaudan are rare now because of their expense. This will be the largest Gaudan ceremony my village has ever seen. 16 cows are to be given away to local farmers. Preparations have been going on for weeks.
Hari Sundara Nanda Mukunda.
Today, a feast for hundreds is being prepared.
Hari Sundara Nanda Mukunda. Narayana Hari Om. Hari Sundara Nanda Mukunda. Narayana Hari Keshava Hari Govinda. Hari Narayana Hari Om.
I speak of ancient traditions weakening in this land of the Vedas. It was a long and difficult search to find a local Pandit who thought himself qualified to perform a Gaudan ceremony. That in itself is not a good sign of strength of Vedic wisdom traditions. As it turns out, this senior Pandit has trouble knowing just what to chant and what to do. The knowledge seems to be fading. This is another important reason to have arranged a Gaudan to be performed. I try to leave imperfections on the surface and concentrate on the deeper meaning of the mantras being chanted.
On whole body we are going to sprinkle flowers and rice.
The last procedure involves sprinkling offering on the cows themselves and finalizing the gift of cows to the man who will walk them home. The fortunate Brahmin farmers are chosen for their needs, both for a boost in income and for the spiritual blessing a cow can bring. This is a gift of wealth in both a worldly and a divine sense. Today, I visit the school in Atsalia with a few supporters and volunteers from Edmonton. Many Canadians work hard to make this school possible. The benefits that an education can bring to these children and to their families is hard to fully measure. In many ways, these youngsters look like students in Canada, but the differences are deep. These children will often be the first in their family to be able to read and write.
प्रत्येक
17 भगवान
Education has just now become a right in India. Still, it is a privilege. These boys and girls have a rare chance at something better in life, and they want to do well. They are eager to learn. Many become the pride of their family. Our school in Atsalya is called the Shakuntala Devi Bal Vidyalaya, which means the Shakuntala Children's School, named after my mother Shakuntala Devi. It is known as a free education school. It offers education to all children. We expect this in Canada, but in India, it is a big deal. Most Indian schools require the parents to pay, yet parents are often too poor. Sometimes we even pay the parents to let their children come to school instead of work. Schooling here in Atsalya is free for all children. No discrimination is tolerated. Rich or poor, boys or girls, high caste or low, any faith, all children are welcome here to learn. Like students in the West, these village children are taught more than reading, writing, and mathematics. There is group discipline and physical exercises and cultural lessons and personal discipline as well. The senior grades learn about computers in this small classroom with a solar charged battery. But today, the one old computer doesn't work. The young teacher can only point at it and try to explain. There is still much to be done to help these village children. They ask for better lessons, for training, so they can do something to earn a good living. The youngest need classrooms indoors. The building is full. Even a new pen or pencil makes this a very good day for them. And so it is that we come from Canada to see what more is needed. Always on our visit to the school in Atsalya, we try to inspire the boys and girls to do their best to learn and grow. And all this promise of a better life for village children in India comes because people in Alberta, Canada, care enough to make it happen.
Hari Sundara Nanda Mukunda Hari Narayana Hari Om.
Our walkathon in Edmonton is raising money for the village school and for local inner city school children just a few miles away from this park. My community here is strong. It is a joy to see how those who follow Sanatan Dharma are growing along their own path. It is an honor to have a place in their spiritual lives. For me, to be called to practice the disciplines, the rituals, the pujas, to teach young Canadians about the wisdom of our ancient culture. These things bring great satisfaction and blessings to my personal quest. And so it is, I stay in Alberta, Canada. I'm asked to travel around North America to perform rituals and teach the traditions. Yet, I turn aside job offers for big money in American temples. There are far more important qualities in life to treasure. The inner journey is as good here as anywhere for now. I do sometimes think that when our boys are fully grown, perhaps The pull of the land of the Vedas will draw me back to India to seek an enlightened one, a master. Maybe in some holy place along the Ganges. But today, the inner journey takes place here, where the sense of community is strong, where devotion to universal truth fills the temple with song. Here is where I can help let the great wisdom traditions lift the spirits of many friends. Edmonton is where I have been led on my path to moksha, liberation. Still just a place, but a very good place to be and to grow. And here is where I can help to make the path itself home for others. And for me, Acharya Shiva Shankar Dwivedi.